Hello everyone, welcome back. So this video ended up being a little different than what I originally planned. A few days ago, the season reset. So I decided to do my climb through ladder using this Mega Lopunny team. The original stream was a little over 3 hours long and about 14 games total. But the audio quality completely betrayed me. So instead of uploading the raw stream, I decided to turn this into a more recap style video and voice over the whole thing properly. And honestly, I think this version ended up way better anyway. Instead of showing every single cue, dead moment and repetitive matchup, I trimmed the fat down and I kept some games that I think mattered the most. Some of them show what makes this team genuinely strong, some of them show the adjustments I had to make during the climb, and most of them honestly show the state of the current ladder pretty well too. For anyone wondering, the entire climb was streamed live originally, so if you ever want the full unedited experience, the VOD is still up on my stream playlist. This video also ended up meaning a little more to me than just random ladder games, because right before the stream I had taken a small step back from content making, because I was honestly starting to burn myself out, trying to over-optimize everything, from the teams to the uploads to every session. And this was kind of the first time in a while where I just queued games without trying to force perfect results. Just learning the new season, trying the new team, and actually enjoying the process again. So this video is basically the best parts of that climb condensed into one run. The close games, the anti-meta ideas, the adjustments, and how this Mega Lopunny team actually performed on ladder. So yeah, let's get into it. Here we have the first game. This is pretty much basic Sun. Against Sun, this team mostly wants to do Talonflame and Garchomp. Talonflame deals with Venusaur, Garchomp deals with Charizard. We are also pretty decent into Aegislash. We can deal with opposing Garchomp. Basculegion and Sneasler become a bit more tricky, but we have a Protect on Talonflame. Garchomp doesn't have Protect, which can be a bit tricky, but we can play around it. The next two Pokemon I consider is obviously Lopunny because it's pretty good into most of the stuff they have. Sneasler is a weakness, but Lopunny can close combat into Aegislash. We have Triple Axle for both Venusaur and Garchomp, and we can hit Charizard for neutral with the Triple Axle. My next choice was about to be King Gambit, but looking at Sneasler with close combat, a Charizard, a potential Earth Power on the Venusaur, Earthquake or Stomping Tantrum on Garchomp, kinda dissuaded me from doing that. I went with Basculegion in the hopes that we can either finish the game with last respect or pick up some KOs with priority. Still, I didn't think that the Mystic Water Basculegion was really good into this. But Lucario is not an option because we hit nothing for super effective. So Basculegion in this case is pretty much the best of the worst. Here our opponent opens with Venusaur Charizard, just the lead that we want to see. I am contemplating Acrobatics, Flare Blitz or just going for a Tailwind. And I go for the Acro because I believe that if they go for a greedy Sleep Powder we can punish them. I am of the opinion that a lot of the Venusaur have dropped Focus Sash, so I did bet on them not being Focus Sash to not punish me. I could potentially double up into the Venusaur slot instead of throwing the Stone Edge, but I was kinda trying to test the waters and see if they would protect or if they would keep the Charizard in for a really aggressive play. They switch the Charizard into Garchomp, we deal minimal damage. Sneasler comes in, and here I have to make a pretty decent call of what is getting the fake out. I go for a Protect on Talonflame to keep my Gale Wings up, and here I'm thinking that if Lopunny goes down, this is okay. I was under the impression that my Garchomp was Choice Scarf, and this is why I did this switch. On the first draft, the Garchomp was Choice Scarf. So Lopunny gets in, they go for a Rock Slide, which was quite fortunate for my unoptimal switch. Now we're in a pretty good spot. We have acrobatics on Snizzler with priority. And we go for a mega into triple axel for the Garchomp kill. In this position I'm considering if they will switch back the Garchomp, but this would mean that their Charizard would take a lot of damage, so this looks either like a sack or a protect. We get an easy KO on the Snizzler. We see that they do not protect, so we pray that we hit the triple axel. Here we see the Rock Slide, which means that their choice scarf on the Garchomp. But we hit the triple axel and we take back no recoil, which means that they're Sand Veil, and that was weird. Talonflame goes down, but that doesn't matter. We know that Charizard is their last Pokemon, so we get in the Garchomp. And here I'm trying to play it safely. So I'm going for a Stone Edge, and I'm gonna switch my Lopunny out. We go into Basculegion. If Stone Edge ever misses, we can get the Lopunny back in and go for another Fake Out into another Stone Edge, or a Fake Out into a Wave Crash, or anything as we see fit. So this was just a way to make sure that no matter what's the outcome, we could come back. And that seals the game. So this is our first win on the Pokeball tier. Here we have the team that I pretty much built my team to beat. I wanted to be able to punish Archaludon as hard as possible. Looking at their team, I believe they will lead either with Whimsicott and Scovillain, or Scovillain Sylveon. So I'm going to lead against that. Our Talonflame is really good into Scovillain, it's pretty okay into Whimsicott, and Lucario kills Sylveon, threatens the Whimsicott, and obviously threatens their Archaludon. I'm keeping the Lopunny in the back so we can break a multi-skill from a Dragonite and then kill it with triple axel. And I keep the Garchomp because we have Stomping Tantrum for the Archaludon. We have our Stone Edge for Pelipper. We have a Dragon Claw for Dragonite. We have Poison Jab for Whimsicott, Scovillain, Sylveon, doesn't matter. Here they lead with Whimsicott and Scovillain, so this is kinda tricky. We know that Talonflame can KO either Scovillain or Whimsicott, so I'm kinda trying to see if they're going for a Protect. And also if they go for a Tailwind, I know that I can go for my own Tailwind next turn and give me a Tailwind advantage on one turn at least. So here we're going for the maximum amount of damage. We could go for an Aura Sphere, but I didn't want to show them that I have Aura Sphere. We could also go for a Roar, so we see that it's Mega Scovillain. They go for a Tailwind. We get our acrobatics on the Mega Scovillain and we kill it. And that means that we go for a Steel Beam on Whimsicott, which if it doesn't miss, we will bring it down to Sash. We do not miss, we get it down to Sash. We lose half of our hit points, but that's okay. they bring the Dragonite in. Now I have to make a tough decision if I'm going to kill Whimsicott with an acrobatics or maybe go for a tailwind of my own. And I am going for a hard read of them trying to protect the Whimsicott. So I'm going for a tailwind to make sure that Lucario will move before their Dragonite. And I throw the Aura Sphere on the Whimsicott slot, hoping that Archaludon would come in, but if it doesn't, we still pick up the KO on Whimsicott, and if Lucario goes down, we're still okay because we have the Pokemon advantage. Here I'm really ecstatic to see that Archaludon comes in, we get our Tailwind, we throw the Aura Sphere, Archaludon dies. Which tells me that it's not invested in bulk. They go for a Fire Blast on the Lucario, which is fine. They have used their Mega Evo. So here we go for the Lopunny. We still have the Gale Wings up, so we still have priority on acrobatics, which means that we can kill the Whimsicott with the Acro, and we go for the triple axle on the Dragonite. First hit will break the multiscale if they are multiscale, and then the rest will kill it. I was considering Fake Out, but there is a chance that they are inner focus. Our Mega goes out, Acro goes off, we get the kill on Whimsicott. And if we do not miss the triple axle, this should be it. We connect, we hit once, we hit twice, and we hit 3 times. And this is it. Good game to my opponent. This was our second game and our second win. Okay, so this is the third game. We're going for the Great Ball tier, and we get into the triple starter team. Here there are 4 potential Mega Pokemon. We have to quickly discombobulate their team and see which Pokemon are actually probably Megas. I am locking in with them being Charizard Y, so I assume the Venusaur in this specific team is probably Sash or something like that. If the Tyranitar is Mega, that means the Blastoise is probably a support Blastoise with Flip Turn and Yawn. If it's a Mega Blastoise and that's just a generic Tyranitar with like a Sash, Choppleberry, Choice Scarf, whatever, then that would be interesting. Specifically Choice Scarf Tyranitar would be really bad. So I am trying to cover for them going Tyranitar because that would be the worst case scenario with us having the Garchomp, the Lucario, the Talonflame and all of that. I am hoping that because we have the Lopunny and the Garchomp and the Talonflame, that neither Venusaur or Charizard would be on the first lead. If they go Sylveon, we can Fake Out into Poison Jab. If they go Corviknight, we can try to deal some damage with a double up from Garchomp and Lopunny. So that's the thought process here. It was really confusing for me. You will see that the timer goes down to like 6-5 seconds, because I was just having a stroke looking at this team and trying to figure out what's the best lead for most of the threats they have. Here the lead with Charizard Venusaur, and that's not the lead that I want to see, but it is the lead that I got. So here I'm considering to Fake Out the Venusaur and throw a Stone Edge on the Charizard, but then I think that this is probably a really obvious play, so maybe they protect, but if they don't protect, it's gonna put me in a really bad position with Lopunny being at half hit points or maybe even less if they single target it with maybe a Weather Ball. So I think I have to do the basic play and just do what I have to do to keep the board state at an equal plays. We get our Mega. Now the Charizard Megas, we see that it is indeed the Charizard Y that we suspected all along. They do go for a Protect, as they should. We get the Fake Outs, at least we break the SAS if they are. We see that they flinch before our guard jump, which means that they are faster, obviously through the chlorophyll. Here, we're going for triple axel into Venusaur, and I am considering to maybe double up on the Venusaur, because if they are faster than Lopunny, they could throw a Sleep Powder. So I am going to double up on it, to make sure that this Venusaur dies this turn, because I don't want to play a game where that Venusaur just presses Sleep Powder on everything I have. Apparently Lopunny is faster than Venusaur, so we get the triple axel, we go for 1, 2, 3 hits, Venusaur goes down. And we throw the Dragon Claw on the Charizard. We do 53%, which means that on the next Dragon Claw that Charizard will go down. So we have no reason to risk a Stone Edge. Here we see the little bulk investment on Lopunny. We have 3 or 4 points on hit point and 1 special defense, which is enough to leave the hit wave. Here they bring in the Sylveon, and they have the most obvious Protect into Hyper Voice that ever existed, and it is kinda their only way out from this situation. So I am reading that. I'm considering to switch the Lopunny, but in the end, I want to do the triple axel chip into Poison Jab to make sure that no matter how bulky this Sylveon is, it goes down this turn. If they Protect with the Charizard, this is gonna be the best case scenario. If they don't and they throw another Heat Wave, that's okay, because no matter what they have in the back, we still have Lucario, we have our rest of the team. We go for the Protect, we throw the triple axel, we hit once, twice, thrice. And the Poison Jab finishes the Sylveon. Apparently they had Tyranitar back. That means we throw a close combat. If they protect the Tyranitar, Lopunny dies to the Sunstorm, but that's fine. We have another fighting Pokemon at the back. With the Garchomp, we're gonna pick up the Charizard. And no matter the outcome, we still win. We do get the close combat on the Tyranitar, which means that Dragon Claw will hit the Charizard. There we go. We pick up the KO. Good game to my opponent, and this was a 3-2 inside Pokeball. And now we are in Great Ball. Okay, so here we have what is an uphill battle for our opponent. We have a Sableye, they have our Chaladon, the Maushold, Kangaskhan. The only thing that we cannot hit for super effective is the Toad. In general, from all the games I've played, Water Pokemon look to be the toughest to beat. if it's not, let's say, Basculegion. This team is built to beat Sableye and Archaludon leads. Lopunny with Scrappy goes through Sableye, and Lucario kills the Archaludon with the Aura Sphere. With them having 2 normal types and Farigiraf for potential Trick Room, Lucario becomes the best lead ever. We have Roar on Lucario, which means that we can stop any kind of Trick Room, and we have Aura Sphere for about 50% of their team. Lopunny is also pretty solid here. We can either fake out or close combat, whatever they have. In the back we grab the Basculegion, mostly because I was afraid of the Toad, and if it came down to it we could win with last respects on the Toad. Here we see them lead with Archaludon and Farigiraf. I have to apply the pressure of a close combat on their Archaludon just to make sure that they don't run the game with it. And obviously we press the Roar on Farigiraf to stop any kind of Trick Room. I did consider Aura Sphere on Archaludon, but I wanted to take the middle ground in case I pressed the Protect. We get our Mega, they go for the Protect indeed, so close combat hits the Protect, and we see the Roar go off, which means that they went for a Trick Room, and they are out. Kangaskhan comes in, which makes things a bit tricky, but at least we know that Lucario cannot be flinched. So I suspect they will go for a fake out on Lopunny. I consider Basculegion for a second, but in case they do not Mega and they keep the Scrappy, I was thinking that Garchomp is gonna be the best case scenario. And if they go for an aggressive move on Archaludon, we hit them with an Aura Sphere just to keep the pressure on. They do a pretty nice switch. They get the Sableye in. They Mega Evolve the Kangaskhan. And they go for the Fake Out, which means that they take 2 turns of chip with Garchomp's Wrap Skin. So they go down to 75%, which is pretty decent. And I believe it did matter in the long run. Here we're gonna ignore the Sableye. I am kinda afraid that maybe they have Anchor, so we don't want to protect in front of it. So we double up the Kangaskhan, they go for the light screen. We double up, the Dragon Claw hits Kangaskhan, and then the Aura Sphere finishes the kill, which is why I think the chip from Rough Skin actually matters here. They go with Archaludon. Here I think it's a pretty easy double up on Archaludon, because even if it leaves, we still have the Lopunny to finish it off. We know that Lucario will stay because we have the Sass, so we go with the Stomping Tantrum on Archaludon and an Aura Sphere. Even if they protect, I do not believe that Sableye can do a lot offensively to threaten us, so let's see what they do. And they go for a really optimistic Rain Dance. Here, in their place, I would press Reflect, but they didn't, so the Stomping Tantrum does a 52%, which is really nice. And Aura Sphere finishes their Archaludon. Fire Giraffe comes back in. And I'm not quite pressed to make a switch. I want to deal as much damage as I can before they go for like a trick room or something like that. So I hit them with a Dragon Claw and I press Aura Sphere. Dragon Claw goes off. That's a pretty physically defensive Fairy Giraffe. And it goes down to 40%, but they press Psychic. Which is not exactly what I was expecting, but you know what? I'm fine with that. They foul play the Garchomp, they take some chip from Rafskin, and we heal up with Citrus, which means that another foul play will not kill the Garchomp here. We double up on the Fairy Giraffe because a Sableye on its own will never kill us. We have 4 Pokemon up at this point. Dragon Claw goes off, Aura Sphere goes off, and that's it. So here they go for a foul play on Lucario, which still doesn't kill. We go for the Dragon Claw, we go for the Steel Beam. Dragon Claw deals a decent chunk of damage and Steel Beam misses, which means that Lucario dies from the recoil. And the foul play brings us down to 70 hit points. So we get the Lopunny in with just we're just gonna press a Dragon Claw in the close combat, doesn't matter. We could even fake out, but it really doesn't matter. Close combat connects and Sableye goes down. Okay. So we got another win. Okay, for the last game I want to keep the original audio, so you see exactly what went through my head second to second. Okay, that's a lot of rain. I think Lopunny Lucario here is gonna be pretty good into everything that's not Gyarados. We need Garchomp for the Gyarados. The real question is, do we need the fee? Or do I go King Gambit? The Fizz is good for cleanup on everything that's not King Gambit. Our King Gambit is good into Charlodon and opposing King Gambit, but it's whatever into the rest of the team. I guess it's good into Starmie also. But that kinda doesn't matter because Starmie is gonna Aqua Jet over the Sucker Punch. But I guess we could Katao into most scenarios. I think I'm gonna keep the fee. Sheldon Gyarados, okay. Gyarados is not that great into our team. We didn't really want to see this. I think I'm gonna fake out into Aura Sphere, expecting them to either protect or switch, so the Gyarados doesn't do much this turn if that's the case. But if it isn't the case, Aura Sphere has a chance to one-hit KO, depends on what kind of Archaludon they are. Okay, they protect, yeah, makes sense. They double protect, okay. This is where having Encore over Rain Dance would be so awesome. How can we predict what they're doing? Do I even predict what they're doing? I think I do. I think I get in the Garchomp. I throw in an Aura Sphere here on whatever switch they might do. Because I assume they're gonna switch. They didn't. They really stood there to take a close combat from Lopunny. What are you doing? 1%. Okay. No, it's sturdy. Huh. I think I'm gonna go into the face. I'm going to flip turn on Archaludon. I think I wanna roar the Gyarados. Do I? Maybe not. Let's take some chip. They use protect, okay. %. Sure, buddy. Yeah, I'm gonna take the most chip I can on the Gyarados. What an aggressive Draco Meteor. Pelipper comes in, sure. We get in the Lopunny. Lopunny is gonna get chipped here, which might have mattered. I don't know. We're not dying, okay. That's good. We go back into the face. I think here we do the triple axel. Actually, before we do the triple axel, I think we can do a fake out. We should pick Pelipper up, right? Okay, they recycle their Archaludon to get the -1, okay. Does this matter in any way? I think priority here is killing the Pelipper. It also can't protect right now. So I'm gonna double up into Pelipper. So we triple axel. Kinda don't want to miss, but I think that's gonna be okay. Because I don't think Gyarados can two-shot the face. I think they have to double protect the Pelipper for them to have a chance. Okay, protecting the Gyarados is not the play. Let's respect. Ooh, we already kill with a -1. That's more than fine. I think that's the game to Ultra Ball. They have another Pokemon, I totally forgot. Okay. This is gonna suck. Lopunny dies to Aqua Jet. We kill the Starmie with last respects. Quicklo! Oh no! Please tell me this doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. It doesn't matter. Okay. Do I have to kill? Because if they double up the face with an Aqua Jet into Waterfall, the face dies. No, I think that's the best case scenario. Oh my. This is way closer than it should be. Don't get another quick loop proc. Okay. Aqua Jet goes there. Starmie dies. Then the face dies. And we have to do a triple axel accuracy check next turn into Gyarados. Or maybe 3. Okay! Let's go. We did it! That's kinda why I want another move into the Rain Dance slot. We could run Giga Impact or Anchor or anything, which I think we will do, because I want to share this team. I think we can share the better version of it, which shouldn't have the Rain Dance. And here is the code for the team, with the final version and all the changes. Basculegion is now Choice Scarf, Lopunny has Thunder Punch, King Gambit lost the low kick and has Iron Head because we already have a lot of fighting moves for the team. And the Talonflame is a bit faster than the first EV spread that you might have seen while I was talking at the intro. This is a team I really enjoy and I think it has a lot of potential. Lucario has a decent amount of potential on this meta. I believe both physical and special has their own place. You could change Lopunny for, let's say, a Mega Blastoise, so you would get your special side of a fighting move through the Blastoise, and you could run a physical Lucario with maybe Close Combat and Meteor Mass, and if you don't want to use the Roar, you could use a coverage move. The Garchomp spread I really enjoy. The moves are really nice. There are moments that you lack Protect and you can feel it, but the extra coverage of having Poison Jab is really nice. Stone Edge over Rockslide is my personal choice. A lot of Charizards EV to leave the Rockslide from a Garchomp, so what I prefer is Stone Edge. It is a move that you will miss a lot with. You could change it with Rock Tomb, but currently I'm willing to take the risk. Mostly because this team suffers into a decent chunk of flying Pokemon that resist Triple Axel, so your Charizards, your Talonflames, your Pelipper's, your Gyarados and stuff like that. I want to be able to hit them harder. You could make a case for running Roselia on Garchomp over Citrus, but I found that Citrus gives you exactly what you need to leave a lot of 2-hit KOs, like Charizard's Solar Beam, Heat Waves, and whatever is next to a Charizard. Because a Garchomp is the answer to a Charizard team, I want to make it as viable as possible against it. Basculegion and Kingambit are nothing new, the sets are pretty common, so I don't have something to say about them. So anyway, this is it for today. Thank you for joining, and I will see you next time.